Yep. All right. Today, welcome everyone. Today I have Mark Lane with me, who is the partnerships manager at TorFX Currency Exchange. Hello, Mark. How are you?
Yes, good, very good. Thank you, Ritesh. Lovely to speak with you today.
Yes, no, thanks. We have been talking since last few weeks, and I thought of uh, bring inviting you onto this channel so that more people know about you and TorFX, the benefits of using TorFX for currency exchange if they are looking for any reason buying properties or personal reasons. Uh,
Well,
so far,
thank you,
yeah,
thank you for the opportunity actually to be here.
yeah, no, thank
Yes,
you.
no, TorFX is not just property. It's basically anybody that needs to shift any funds around the world, practically anywhere for any reason. I mean, we will transfer as little as $200. Um, all the way up to hundreds of millions. The only difference is that we only work bank to bank. So if you're wanting to come and grab 5,000 euro before you head overseas, we're not the place.
Yeah,
But if you're wanting to transfer 5,000 euro for argument's sake, then we are the place.
yeah, that sounds good. Let me uh, go back and
Sure.
kind of take this opportunity to know more about you, as in a brief introduction about you and your past. Like, tell
Sure.
me something about you, your background, about TorFX.
Okay. Well, basically, I started in IT many, many, many years ago. I'm not going to tell you exactly how many, but that tells you how old I am.
No, I
Um,
get it.
but let's just say that Microsoft was only a very, very small company when I first started. Um, did IT for many years, worked in some fantastic companies back in the day. Um, had a boat brokerage here on the Gold Coast for a number of years as well, but COVID fairly quickly saw the end to that, unfortunately. Um, so I looked around and found TorFX and found a new home here
Yeah,
and have been here ever since.
nice.
And that is a very, very abridged version, but that's basically how I ended up to being where I am now.
Great. So, tell me about TorFX. How is it different to other,
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
currency exchange?
TorFX themselves in Australia have been running for around 20 years. We're a part of a much larger group called Currencies Direct, which we are the largest privately held foreign exchange company in the world. The company itself has been operating now for around 27 years. Um, we hold the highest credit rating with Dun& Bradstreet. We work under exactly the same licenses as all the major banks, which is the AFSL license. We also are governed by ASIC and a number of other different organisations. The only real difference between us and the banks is that our license doesn't have a blemish on it, and they can't say that.
Yep.
um, and that's basically, I mean, I think we transferred or exchanged approximately $24 billion last year. And this year, although it's getting very close to the end of the financial year, we will actually exceed that. So
Yeah.
we do transfer a lot of money around the world. We actually use exactly the same system that the banks use. Sorry, it's my voice. Which is the SWIFT system. So all the major banks across the world use exactly the same. So your money is safe when we do transfer it. What else can I tell you? One very important thing is that we do not charge, unlike the banks or most of our other competitors, we do not charge any fees whatsoever. How we make our money is because we're so large. when we do purchase the currencies we purchase in such large amounts, we get a discount.
Yeah.
And that way we can give our clients a discount. On average, we're probably 3 to 5% cheaper than the banks in most cases, sometimes quite a bit more. One of the other advantages with us, other than the rest of the other organizations like us, is very simply that no matter whether you're transferring $200 or $200 million, every single customer of ours gets their own dedicated account manager with their own direct line to that account manager and their direct email, which means that if you do have any issues, you're going straight to the source. You're not stuck in a calling a call center overseas, or even worse, having to a flurry of emails coming in backwards and forwards over weeks at a time. You have that direct contact with us at all times. In Australia here, we have our head office in Surfers Paradise. We have representation now in Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, soon to be New Zealand. And we've also put another guy on in Brisbane as well, seeing we're in Surfers. But yeah, so we've been here for quite some time now. Yeah, I think I said before, I think it's about 20 years that TorFX has been running in Australia. And that's a very, very short version. I mean, there are many ways in which our clients can deal with us. We have two different types of clients. We have personal, so it may be someone that just needs to shift their own funds, whether it be an inheritance or they're immigrating in or out of the current country, or a pension, for instance, that they need to bring in. I mean, a lot of UK expats that live in Australia, for instance, bring in a monthly pension. We do a lot of that. The vast majority of our stuff is a lot to do with the property side of things. If someone's moving to Australia, they're selling their home, they need to transfer those funds. And we help a lot of organisations like yourself, mortgage brokers, buyers agents, solicitors, immigration lawyers, all those sorts of people, with their clients to help them, firstly, number one, save money, and number two, get it here quickly and on time.
No, sounds good. So what are the?
I was going to say, so that's the personal side of things. We also deal a lot in the corporate side of things as well, in that, as you're probably well aware, in Australia, 95% of the things that everybody uses on a daily basis is imported in some way, shape or form. We deal with a lot of those businesses that have regular requirements to actually purchase stock, plant, equipment, parts from overseas on a regular basis. And we look after those guys as well. And again, they get their own dedicated account manager. That account manager gets to know that particular client and their client's needs. They keep an eye on what the market's doing and can be proactive in helping them save money on a regular basis, purely and simply by just making sure that once they know what that customer's requirements are.
Great, perfect, sounds good. So what are the currency? Please explain the currency transfer options available with the TorFX.
Well, look, there are many and varied. Firstly, you can just book, you can ring up your own dedicated account manager and book it directly with them. When you set up your account with us, as I said, we work under exactly the same licenses as a bank. So it's no different than just setting up a bank account. Your initial one, you will have to have the 100 points of ID and all those sorts of things, just like you would if you walked into one of the major banks and wanted to open an account. It's exactly the same way. Once that's set up, you have options. You can contact your account manager directly via the phone. You can email them, or you can go online. And on our online system, we have both the private or personal currency exchange and the corporate currency exchange. So you can do it online. We also have now just introduced an app. Currently, the app is only for our personal clients. They are still getting the same rates using the app, which is usually, as I said, 2 to 5% cheaper than the banks.
Yep.
And there's still no fees. That will expand out for the corporate clients in time, but we just haven't quite got there at the moment. So it's fully self-service, and that app is available both on Apple and Android. So no matter which one you're looking at, or which one, whatever particular phone you have, we can help. So there are the 3 or 4 different ways in which you can interact with our company, and depending on the level of service you require.
Yep, sounds good. I noticed your website has this rate improver guarantee. Would you like to elaborate on
I
that?
knew you were going to ask about that. The guarantee itself, basically what it is if you can provide us with an actual valid quote. So you actually have to receive a dealing quote from your from an alternative source. We will beat it.
Mhm.
But if we can't beat it, we will let you know that you are on a much better rate. I mean, there are instances where people are actually getting better than market rates. Very, very rarely, and they're usually the extremely, extremely large size transactions. I'm talking over, $100, $150 million. So the guarantee is exactly that. Very similar to the Bunnings guarantee, in that if you can find a better rate, we will beat it.
Yep, get it.
Okay, so that's basically what it is.
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah.
So we have already covered the support and guidance. Like you mentioned, there is a dedicated accounts manager.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just on that is unique to our business. There is not another facility out there that has that, not for every single client.
Yep. So it is as easy as a client picking up the phone and calling their mobile number directly.
The direct phone line directly to their account manager.
Nice.
If the account manager doesn't answer, someone will answer that call. None of our account managers have voicemail. We don't allow them to.
Okay.
Someone will pick up that call, and at the very worst, if the person does can't answer the question at the time, the account manager will call them back within. On average, we generally can get back to our clients within the maximum of about 20 minutes.
Wow.
Okay. Just on the other side too, just on TorFX, we are actually the only financial organization to have received CanStar 5-star rating.
Nice.
We've now had it 5 years in a row.
Wow.
So, and we're also rated with the highest rating with Dun & Bradstreet.
Wow. Now, very impressive. And I guess this is obviously my reason to interview you and know more about TorFX, given the credentials of the business.
Well, they are. I mean, you look at our Trust Pilot, which is probably the go-to for organizations like us. Our Trust Pilot is constantly extremely close to 5 out of 5 at all times.
Yep.
We have the highest rating on Trustpilot over every other single solitary competitor out there.
Yep. That's good. So I'm trying to summarize the top features of TorFX, like competitive exchange rates, fee-free service. Each client is assigned their own account manager, award-winning customer service, fast, safe, secure transfers.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah,
great.
but using the Swift platform, which is exactly the same platform that Westpac Bank, Commonwealth Bank, ANZ, they all use exactly the same one.
Yep.
They will suggest in some cases that using someone that's not a bank, you don't know how your money is going to be transferred. We use exactly the same system.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yeah,
our money your money gets shifted around the world on exactly the same platform as all the major banks.
so is it like a prompt service? Like, will the money be showing in the bank account within few minutes, days, hours?
Normally, it's around 24 hours. How the system works, basically, we have agreements with some fairly major banks around the world. And
Yeah.
I'm talking the likes of JP Morgan, Barclays, and the like. The one closest to you in that particular instance, let's just say, for instance, you're in the UK, then it'd be, Barclays. You would transfer your funds into that particular bank that you need to be transferred. We would give you all the details. We would then do the exchange and send it to your nominated bank account or nominated beneficiary, depending on who or what the actual requirement was.
Yep.
Generally, it takes 24 hours max. In some cases, and this is not us, this is the banks around the world, don't like to part with the money quite as quickly. So sometimes it will take your personal bank a little longer to get the funds to us. And in those instances, then yes, it does take a little bit longer. For instance, I'm just trying to think of an example. At the moment, I can't think of any. Some of the more exotic currencies can be a little slower. For instance, South Africa, for instance, the rand, that can be a bit slower, purely and simply because the government just doesn't want the money leaving the country. And neither does the bank. So they can be a little slower in those sorts of instances. It's not us. Once it hits our account, that's generally 24 hours.
Right.
I mean, just to give you an idea, we've had a huge amount of growth over the last 12 months.
Yeah.
We've just recently, there is a very large company called the Blackstone Group, which is a huge investment, one of the largest investment companies in the world. They called this dipping their toe in the water. They've just recently invested £140 million into our business.
Wow.
So that's allowed us to sort of grow fairly quickly and expand our offerings and our services and our products.
Yep.
We're also looking at some other further business acquisitions at the moment, but I'm obviously not at liberty to explain those in too much detail.
Yep. No, I get it. So in terms of the clients who can benefit from TorFX, so individuals, businesses, corporates.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Anybody that has a requirement to shift funds from overseas to Australia or from Australia to overseas, we can help. And we are usually quite competitive. On the property side of things, and I can give you an example. This particular example is an extreme example. This is not the norm. It just so happened to be a really good day and there was plenty of margin. There was a gentleman moving back from the US. He purchased quite a large property. It was in Noosa. 3.6 million, I think it was, to be exact. He'd been dealing with his US bank for about 30 years and thought he was on the best rate. We saved that gentleman $177,000. And he turned around to me and he said, Mark, what happened with that 177 grand? And I said, absolutely nothing, mate. The bank would have just put it in their pocket. I said, and you just would never have seen it.
Yeah.
And as I said, that was an extreme example.
Yeah.
But on average, we generally, for property, and I'll use that as the example because I've just used that one, we generally save people in the tens of thousands of dollars based upon the banks. I like to use the term the banks are fat and lazy.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Just quickly, we know emerging economies, India and other similar economies. Uh, what's the process like if someone in India wants to transfer money here? Uh,
India is a difficult one for a couple of reasons. The Indian rupee is a very, very, very volatile currency. And let's face it, the vast majority of people within India actually prefer to deal in US dollars anyway.
yeah,
We can't, it's not that we can't, it's not cost effective for both us and the client to try and deal in the rupee because the way in which it fluctuates so much.
yeah, 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 yeah.
However, as I said, most people within India that are looking to transfer funds usually have US funds, and that's not a problem at all. We can get that done quite quickly.
Yeah.
So that's that's one of them. Another example, mainland China. Now, mainland China, the Chinese government has instructed all the banks that they cannot transfer any more than $50,000 US per transaction. So
Yeah.
if you're trying to get more than $50,000 US out of China, you will actually find it quite difficult.
Yeah.
So so there are a few. It was almost impossible. Again, we'll go back to South Africa. For people to get funds out of South Africa because their banks and the South African government just wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
We actually have an office in South Africa. And our office in South Africa now has reached an agreement with a particular bank in South Africa that does allow us to then transfer funds out of that country.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are a few hoops that the South Africans have to go through with regards to tax and those sorts of things. But we've actually got all that's there to help them do that.
Yep, yep.
So the different countries around the world have different rules, laws, and regulations. But we have found ways in which we can legally move those funds for those people.
Yep, sounds good.
And it's because we're so large. It's that simple.
Yep, yep. No, I'm very much impressed with how TorFX is managing the business, how they have a dedicated account manager, this rate improver guarantee, and I can see their vision and mission for the business.
Yeah.
Customer first, sort of.
Oh, 100%. As I said, and I don't speak ill of the competition because I don't need to. Our awards speak for themselves. We are the highest rating on Trustpilot, 5-star CanStar for 5 years in a row. None of our competition hold anything like that. We do.
Right. Yep.
And it's because of our customer service and our dedication to saving people money.
Nice. So just quickly getting that right, the process. So when someone wants to use TorFX, they what was the process again? Just for the
It's
listeners.
just like opening a bank account.
Right. So 100
No
points of
different than if you
ID.
walked into the Commonwealth Bank. We need the forms of ID.
Yep.
A business one is a little bit more because then we'll need the beneficiaries as well.
Yep.
But once it's set up, you only need to do that once.
Right.
Just like a bank account.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So yeah, and as I said, once it's all set up, you could even just use the app. So
Oh, yeah.
you could be anywhere in the world. You can either jump online or use the app off your phone and still get your funds transferred. If you do require anything a little bit more, then you have your dedicated account manager.
Right.
Now, we do a number of different, we do forward orders, we do spot transfers, we do limit orders, we do all the normal things that people require for currency exchange. So there's nothing really we can't do.
Yep. Yep.
Except there are a couple of regulated countries around the world at the moment. I mean, when you're talking the likes of Russia, North Korea, Ukraine at the moment, unfortunately, Afghanistan, those sorts of countries are actually blocked worldwide.
Yep.
You just can't transfer money in or out of any of those. And we're no different there.
Yep.
No one can. So there is no way in those countries.
Yep. Good. Perfect. So let's wind up this conversation.
Sure.
It has been great having you on this interview, knowing about you, TorFX, the benefits. Very impressed with the vision, mission, how the company is set up, and how it has made it easier for consumers. Yeah.
And less expensive.
Less expensive. Yeah. It's all
So there's more money in their pocket.
Yes.
And that's the key.
Yep. Now very impressed, and I can sense, the future is bright for TorFX. It is.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yep.
With this new investment, we are growing into other areas. Again, right now I'm not at liberty to say, but those will include things like an international credit card, for instance. Well, not credit card, but an international card. So if you are in country, you'll be able to. It is being trialled right now in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
UK is our head office. And we should see it here in the next probably 12 to 18 months. But don't hold me to that one.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
That one's a little bit above my pay grade.
Yeah. No, I get it. And the whole idea of this conversation is to share the news about benefits of using TorFX. There are so many people around the world, say people living in Australia, who possibly still have some funds, savings, or property or whatever,
inheritance, all sorts of things,
overseas. So all we are trying to do is kind of educate them and make them aware that if they are looking to transfer those funds to Australia, then look nowhere else. Contact TorFX, go to their website, contact, you.
Absolutely.
Or
and just with as I was saying before, you're going to have to sort of stay tuned because there are a number of projects that we have on the roadmap that will be rolled out over the next sort of 12 to 18 months.
Yep.
I would be more than happy to provide you with an update at an appropriate time in the future. But now, so yeah.
No, I totally understand. So maybe by all means, we will have another interview.
For sure.
Yeah.
Love to.
Yep. And continue sharing the company updates or any new product or feature that is being introduced by TorFX. So we would love to share this with the listeners. Yep. Be more.
TorFX is all about saving the client money. And that's the bottom line. Yes, we do make a margin. Yes, that's how we earn our money. But because we purchase such large amounts, our margins can be quite tight. And
Yeah.
yes, the banks do, but as I said before, they're fat and lazy and they don't like giving any away.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I
And
understand,
no fees,
Yeah,
absolutely no fees.
yeah. No, very impressed with TorFX, and I look forward to knowing more about you and TorFX in the future.
Not a
So
problem, Ritesh.
thank you very much for this conversation today. It was great having you.
Yep, lovely speaking to you too.
Yes. All right then.
And feel free to reach out if you want, if you need anything further.
No, for sure. All right then.
All
So
right.
thank you and have a good day.
You too. Thank you.